Alright, so first and foremost, I want to start by saying Kalalali Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Akwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of James Stone, and to you, I came out there pushing the truth in sincerity. Shalom. Alright, this is a brother Cannon from James, Jamaica. You read another lesson, and this time, this lesson will be centered around changes. You know what I mean? Now, as you can see on the screen, change is inevitable. The whole motion, the whole life itself is basically changes, are changes overall. The whole fact that things you have motion is because of changes. You know what I mean? So yes, change is inevitable as the saying goes. But for some reason, a lot of people don't want to change. The more so things remain the same. Now, what could possibly drive for one society still the way it is? When you look in society today and you realize that yo, it's just suffering, folly, wickedness in high places, just a continue. You know what I mean? The leaders of the earth, they are not um, pure. You know what I mean? They are not um, for the benefit of the people, for your benefit overall. You know what I mean? So why would you want society to continue this way when things just like get worse and worse, which is actually changes. You know what I mean? So for basically hope is a driven what we call it now, element to basically keep people going. So a lot of people, the reason why you continue getting up in the morning going to work is because you have hope, and your hope is to find something better. You know what I mean? But what people have as and most people have as better is what society dictate to them and tell them, so this is the way, this is them new norm, which let me get into is like a lot of people want unification or unity between all races, which is not what the Bible is teaching. The Most High is not for unity in that sense. You know what I mean? The Most High is not with the Babylon confusion method, because that was done back then and it was destroyed. The Tower of Babel. You know what I mean? When everybody they want to come as one. If and you have other societies that tried before. You know what I mean? Try to basically incorporate persons with one identity, you know what I mean, one language or whatever. But it don't work, you know what I mean? The Most High is not for that. You know what I mean? Because just like oh you have different trees, different you have different animals, even though they may be in the same category, and I mean them have difference about them, which make life what it is. Now, the same thing goes for human, and I mean our so-called human. Same thing goes for people. The most I create diverse races and never decide or create for them come together as one. So the whole dream of so-called blacks and whites living together as one, and that the most side is not with that. You know what I mean? And this is what a lot of people having a them vision as a better tomorrow. You know what I mean? Oh, Black Lives Matter, but the more basically they must say Black Lives Matter because they must say, yo, let's unify. You know what I mean? Let's become one. Let's have common grounds where we live at, right? Like Trump come out and say, if you show you, if we just give you an example, how other nations think. Trump come out and say him do more for so-called black people than any other American president. You know what I mean? Trump come out and say that, and it just show you that them actually think them doing good for you so-called Negroes. And I mean even you, Latinos and Native Americans, because them still have you in the same light, just like what them do with the so-called Negroes, right? But what I'm saying is the whole purpose of unity, that change what people want to see take place, it not got the most is not with that. You know what I mean? The so-called white man don't want for unified with you because him know the truth. Him know say, oh, look here, the only reason I'm pretend for unify with you is because him realize that you're stronger than him, and that very soon, if him the friend you then way and destroy you, him gonna basically lose. Because as I stated, we are stronger. You know what I mean? When them decide to okay, let's unite, or so-called unite. When them realize them a lose profits and we out for take basically conquer them. You know what I mean? Them have to come up with our next plan to, you know, the Willie Lynn syndrome thing and all of them things they basically then they have to formulate those structure for actually rule. You know what I mean? They never formulate those structure for actually rule. Anyways, let me get into some precept and get deeper into what I'm trying to say, alright? So first and foremost, let's go into the changes. Alright, so first, in order for a better tomorrow to come, this setting up have to get discharged. For those who don't want to see this setup get discharged, you're evil and you're not looking out for your own benefit either. You know what I mean? You're delusional, you're being brainwashed by society, and for people like you, that is the only option. You know what I mean? Now let me just read this. So this is Second Ezra, and I'll start from Second Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. Alright, let me start from this. It said, then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. He said, the world hasteth fast to pass away, right? And cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. Alright? For the world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. Currently, we can see that clearly. The world right now is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, right? And this need to pass away fast. You know what I mean? Which is why we're crying to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai to basically hurry up and redeem us, which we know I'm going to do it in time rightful time because it's already set. You know what I mean? But the motion must go on. Alright, verse 25. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Right? So for the good to come, the evil has to be destroyed. You know what I mean? And this is why a lot of people lost in this, because them fail to understand that the so-called white man is the seed of wickedness. Is the evil seed. You know what I mean? The son of perdition. And for the earth to have any form of let's put it this way, for the earth to go back to its state of paradise, the white man have to lose power. You know what I mean? The white man have to lose power over the earth. You know what I mean? The crackers have to lose rulership over the earth. And then finally, them have to get put out totally. Them have to get wiped out. You know what I mean? That's a part of the Most High plan to eliminate the so-called white man, because he is the evil seed and the evil that gets sown throughout the earth, because film policy go throughout all the earth. You know what I mean? That's why you see war brewing in the Middle East right now, because very soon all hell must break loose. Very soon Babylon must fall. Very soon the deliverance of Israel must take place, which gonna bring our better tomorrow. You know what I mean? Or a better change where we are seek for, what the Most High promise us. You know what I mean? I know that he's not a man that he should lie. Alright, so let me continue. Alright, let me pause there. So we know that the evil have to get destroyed before. And how can you spoil someone goods if you don't destroy the strong man, as the scripture state? You know what I mean? You have to get rid of it. There's no begging with the so-called white man. There's no coming together. You know what I mean? Because, put it this way, oil and water don't mix. You know what I mean? oil and water cannot mix. And that's what you're trying to do when you're saying, oh, let the so-called white man, the crackers, the Edomites, come together with this with the Israelites. That's your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It just don't work. They can pretend for a time, but guess what? It not gonna work for a long time period. You know what I mean? All right, let me get the next precept. So that's what the society pushing, you know what I mean? Unity, unification. But we cannot be conform to the social standard where the so-called white man are pushed, the narrative of the so-called white man are pushed. The word Black Lives Movement is not even our movement, and as I state, we are not black people. The word term black people is not even our term. We did not create these ideology. We did not create these ideas. We did not create these terms. You know what I mean? But yet we so-called black people or so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, we attach ourselves to these identities as if we were the creators of these identities, and we solely or strongly stand for these identities. What about the identity that was given to you before the so-called white man started calling you these names? Like you being an Israelite, which is really of important. You know what I mean? So you need to get back to that. You know, you need to change back to the true the true you, and stop taking on false names. You know what I mean? All right, let me get this. So this is Romans 12 and verse. Let me start from verse 2. It says, and be not conformed. Let me start from 1. It says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, right, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So you have to be retaught. You have to learn what the Bible is all about. You know what I mean? Learn what the Most High, the will of the Most High is. You know what I mean? For you to basically transform from what society already taught you, because society leaders are what evil. So you following what they are portraying is basically evil. You know what I mean? And if you don't think so, that that's the case, then you don't know what evil is, because all I want to come together is actually evil. The most putting mango seed to with an apple seed is actually evil. You know what I mean? Mixing seeds overall is evil. So we have to understand that, look, okay, yes, we are so-called human, but we are not the same. You know what I mean? Some of us was made to be good, some of us was made to be evil. You know what I mean? And we have to understand that. Alright, some of us was made to be treasured to the Most High. Some of us were made to be enemies to the Most High. You have the duality. Alright. Know what I mean? And that's the change you have to be looking for. Because let me finish here. Right? It says, and be not conformed to this world, verse 2, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So what is the will of God? Because what will stand at the end? The will of the Most High is the will that will stand. There's only one true will, and his will prevail over all will. And his will is that the Israelite will be the new rulers of the coming kingdom, which was promised to us before the foundation of the earth. You know what I mean? That we're gonna rule over our oppressors with a rod of iron, and we're gonna break them neck, we're gonna crack them skull, you know what I mean? And do them double what them give unto us. And then we're gonna transform back this earth into paradise. We're gonna put back things the way it should, because even the earth have to go through changes. The earth have to go through a refreshing, you know what I mean? Because what the so-called white man this do to the earth, currently the earth is wheeling and basically in a mourning state. overall. You know what I mean? All the oil basically get drilled from the earth. You know what I mean? How much it, there's a lot of things the soca white man do, cutting down trees, you know what I mean, deforestation, just so much things. You have sinkholes all over the earth that pop up because the white man are them crazy shit them. So let me just get back to this. So this is Matthew 25 and verse 31. It says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations. So all nations shall be gathered before Yahushua, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. You know what I mean? So the sheep have to get separate from the goats, or the sheep, the last sheep of the house of Israel, the sheep of Israel. You are the sheep. You know what I mean? And Yahushua is the shepherd, right? It says, but the goats on the left, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. So it's like people forget this scripture in the Bible. Oh, the evil put aside. No, the sheep them are Israelites, and we can pull precept to prove that. You know what I mean? So we have to understand. Say, yo, the Most High deal with division. You know what I mean? Division. Everything cannot be the same, and everything is not the same. Right? It's delusional to think that way. Right? Now let me just get to the next precept. Because I would say change will come. It's inevitable. You know what I mean? But what change are you looking for? Because you're going to be disappointed when the change that you are looking for don't come to fruition. You know what I mean? When your change or your dreams or your hopes don't come to pass. You know what I mean? Because you did not see the hope and the change of the Most High promise. Alright, let me just get this real quick. Alright, so this is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 1. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. It says, so far beyond all that they looked for, and they're repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot is among the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us, and the Son of Righteousness was not rose. Sorry, the Son of Righteousness rose not upon us. Yeah, you never know the truth what the Bible they are preach, because you look for a different outcome in the end. They are look for a politician or a specific party to actually come and bring peace to your society. When the Bible tells you that peace shall not come until Shiloh come. You will not have peace until Yahushua return, which Yahushua Shiloh actually means peace, which is Shalom. You know what I mean? So he is the King of Peace. Who else will bring peace on the earth than Yahushua, the King of Peace himself? You know what I mean? So things gonna get worse before it becomes better, because this setup have to get destroyed, and all those in corruption will be destroyed. You know what I mean? So just a quick lesson, you know. So with that I wanna say, yo, Kalalal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, double honors again to the apostles and elders of James Great Stone, and to you I came out there, Shalom. Alright? Make sure your change is what the Most High promise. Shalom.